What is up, my butts and mashers? It is I, NatesLegend, as always. Joined today by no one. It's actually just me today. With it being the holidays and whatnot, as I fix my sorry, my jacket's getting a little stuffy up in here. Yeah, so with it still being the holidays, we wanted to give our everyone else, really the staff, extra time to kind of spend with family and friends and whatever else. So it is just me today, and we're gonna try to cover everything that we can possibly try to cover today. It's gonna be insane, it's gonna be intense, and it's gonna move completely at my pace. So really today's episode's just going to be me monologuing. So I'm really hoping to get some good engagement. Hopefully you guys are able to join in and we can get some comments coming up in here as well. Now, first things before we get really going. I mean, normally I do my, introductions, whatever else, bring people on, but we're not going to do that today. Instead, I'm just going to let you guys know that so we have 2 more episodes in this season. We're doing today. We also have what we're hoping for is next week. And then from there, we're going to call it, we're going to take a small hiatus and get ready for season 2. So keep that in mind here. Today and next week will be our last episodes of the year as we get prepared for, the holiday seasons and the changes. So hopefully season 2 is going to be, you'll notice some of the changes already up in the background. We're slowly making some headway on all of that. So by time season 2 starts, we should have this all set up and ready to go for us. So I'm really excited to see how that all goes down. So, but yeah, so just kind of give you guys a bit of a heads up in that regard. Other than that, we'll just, I'm not even going to do a think about it question. I mean, that's usually to get us all kind of going into things, and I'm ready to go. I don't know about you guys. I'm ready to go. Like I'm ready to talk about it because so much has happened. Okay, so let's just jump right into our, we'll do the breaking news segment here. Or as we call it, not so breaking news. All right, guys. So, couple things. First off, it was announced Xbox, not just Xbox, but the Xbox Series S was the best-selling console on Black Friday. This actually makes a lot of sense to me. I like the Series S. As far as I know that not everybody thinks that it's as powerful as it should be, whatever else, whatever your opinion may be. I think it's an awesome little tool, especially for those that don't want to jump into the $500, $600 machine right away and want to kind of ease their way into the next gen. This is the perfect way to go. You trade in your current Xbox and you're basically getting it at half off anyway. So it makes a lot of sense to me why this would actually be the best selling of the, not only of Black Friday, but right now it's the best selling in general. So you don't get everything that you get with the Series X or the PS5. Again, I have the PS5 and it's worth having the higher end stuff. But if you're just looking to kind of get into things, or if you're not ready to take that leap, this is a great way to do it. So check out the Xbox Series S. Kind of interesting there. Again, I think it does make a lot of sense that that it's the top selling of the season. Moving on, we do also have so PlayStation came out with I don't want to say it's an announcement because it's really not an announcement. They are, however, anticipating that the Game Pass rival will be coming in spring of 2022. It is supposedly coming. It's supposed to combine both the PlayStation, the PS Now with PS Plus. It's supposed to include PS1, 2, and 3 games. So we're looking. It could be a great counterpunch. If anybody has any more insight on this, by all means, let us know. But as far as I can tell, until I see anything super set in stone and they actually give us some information on what this is going to be, Game Pass is grabbing PlayStation by the balls right now. I really do think so. I think that Game Pass is one that Xbox was able to get ahead of, and having them jump in and do that, like from the get-go, really, with the next gen consoles, PlayStation is having to make up a lot of ground. And so for that reason, I mean, if you take the new Xbox game, or not Xbox, but the PlayStation Game Pass rival, you're going to have to go all out with it. I mean, you're going to have to announce something with PCs, with, expanding into other environments as well. So I think that PlayStation has some big shoes to fill. They have this announcement should not be something they take lightly. If they're going to do this, let's do it. There hasn't been a lot of news out of PlayStation lately. There really hasn't in the grand scheme of things, especially compared to what Xbox is doing. So I really hope that this is going to be an awesome actual rival and that it's going to bring PlayStation kind of to the forefront. So hopefully we'll see how things go down. But yeah, that's kind of the big news coming out of PlayStation. We also have news from Battlefield. Okay, Battlefield, there's a lot to dissect with Battlefield. So first off, the launch itself did not go super well with 2042. Buggy as can be. It's definitely having issues, for lack of a better term. But ultimately, so DICE GM Oscar Gabrielson is leaving the company. This is ultimately causing a lot of shakeups, and they are putting Respawn's Vince Zampella in charge. So he's going to be taking on a new role as the overall boss of the Battlefield franchise, which is interesting because they also announced that they're creating the connected Battlefield universe. Basically, the way that I kind of see this is it looks like they're going the same route as Call of Duty, where you have, or even, Master Chief Collection, where you kind of have that centralized game for your multiplayer. It's where you go for everything, and then you have the story campaigns that can kind of do their own thing, but multiplayer is kind of housed in the one area. So it sounds like that's kind of the direction that they're going to be going with the more centralized. I don't know. I think it makes sense in grand scheme of things. Fortnite kind of started it all, moving into, you got Call of Duty that's done it, Master Chief Collection that's done it. So it does make sense to be the next logical step moving forward for Battlefield, especially if they want to remain competitive. But they're late to the game. If anything, they're late to the game, and so hopefully they're able to pull something off. I mean, I don't know how exactly they're going to do it, but hopefully with the shake up in the new bosses and people stepping aside, whatever else, hopefully that's going to allow for a really cool world. And I'm really interested and excited to see what they come out of that. Another new piece from Battlefield. So this just made me laugh, which is why I included it. So they announced new skins that, new seasons coming up, whatever else. So they were going to, drop a new skin, and they dropped a Santa skin. And that caught a lot of backlash. I don't know what everybody else's opinion on it is, but Santa running around shooting people probably doesn't give the best message, but oh my God, I want to do it. I want to walk around as Santa just blasting people. Who wouldn't want to do this? I think it's done. So ultimately what they ended up, they after the backlash, they did subsequently remove the skin. They're not going to be releasing it, and I'm upset. I want it. I would absolutely, in a heartbeat, walk around as Santa just blowing people up. Like, dreams. But nonetheless, just kind of fun stuff there. Sticking with the Respawn kind of Battlefield, all of that fun stuff, kind of sticking in that general vicinity. We also have Titanfall. So the original Titanfall game EA has officially pulled it from stores. Game is still completely playable if you already own the game. So current owners, nothing to stress about. You're not, don't have to worry about losing your game. However, it is not purchasable anymore. It is not available at any stores. I'm sure you could probably find a disc somewhere. I think that's what I have too. I don't know. Oh yeah, look at that. Sorry, this is all impromptu. I'm just realizing, yeah, I have the original disc. So, I mean, I'm sure you can use the original disc for it. As long as you own the game, you're fine, but no longer able to purchase the game. EA did announce earlier it was either this year or late last year, that they're essentially leaving the Titanfall franchise alone. They're moving. They're going to be focusing more on Apex Legends, and that's going to be where they really bend their development, maintaining that game. Which Again, makes a lot of sense, but Titanfall was one of my favorite games, and I didn't get into Titanfall 2 enough, and I really should have. Really upsetting. You still can. It's still, it's still definitely a live community, but everyone has kind of moved to the Apex Legends at this point in time. So, I guess it is what it is. But yeah, game no longer available. Kind of interesting stuff there. So if you're looking to play, definitely try to find a disc or something. All right, other big news coming out to these last few weeks. We also have Rocket League Sideswipe. Okay, if you guys get the opportunity to check it out. So this is Rocket League's new mobile game. It is Rocket League. So it is essentially it's just a spin-off of Rocket League where it's more of a platform type game. You're moving left and right, whatever else, versus, being able to kind of go through that 3D environment, the full field. You're just moving left and right. You can fly your car still. You still have the boost, still have everything there. It's a fun little game if you're looking to kill a little bit of time. It's I don't know. I had an opportunity to play it. I was at lunch, and it just seems a little too simplistic. It's not. It doesn't grab my attention the same way that Rocket League does. There's so much going on in Rocket League that I don't know. It feels very, very different. I do have to point that out. Now, also, you can as I full stutter, I apologize. You can connect a controller. But primary use is going to be the touchscreen. They do have the controls actually on your screen. My understanding, based off reviews that I've seen, I've just been kind of hanging out on Reddit, and Rocket League Sideswipe players are not enjoying controller players. So it seems to be causing a little bit of controversy if you connect the controller to the game. But it is possible to do. I can kind of understand where everyone's coming from, especially, I'm not going to take my controller to work. I'm just, if I'm on my hour-long lunch, I just want to play a couple quick games that, already eat, whatever else. I'm not going to have my controller with me. So playing against someone that has that controller, I can definitely understand why it's a problem, why it's a concern, why it's, why people would be opposed to playing against people that are using the controller. So definitely check it out. It launched. It's worldwide now. It started out as kind of launching in different areas, different regions, but it is available wide now. So if you get the chance to check it out, definitely do. All right, that's our main news. That's all I got for the news. I did want to talk about a couple other. We've talked about Halo every week since before it launched. But I wanted to break into something super, I would say, important with it. So we're gonna move into our secondary topic today. We have two big topics today. This will be a short episode. I'm sure you guys have kind of noticed as we get through our news in less than 15 minutes. This is going to be a shorter episode today, guys. It is just me. So keep that in mind. If you have any comments, please throw them our way. We would love to hear and see them. I'll be moderating everything, so please, by all means. All right, that said, so I want to jump into Halo Infinite again for just a little bit here, guys. So it's been absolute chaos in the Halo Infinite fandom. If you have not had the opportunity to check out what's going on, I highly recommend reading up on it because it's so insane. So it is all concerning Halo Infinite and very specifically to do with playlists in Halo. So quick summary, Halo Infinite currently has 3 different playlists. You have Quick Play, Big Team Battle, and Ranked. Players are a little we're a little upset. We're little upset. Started little. Basically asking for, they were raising feedback requesting Social Slayer playlists, which has been available since really Halo 2, if we're being honest. So they are looking, players are trying to get, Slayer playlists set up where you can customize everything. 343 community manager, John, wait, am I skipping ahead here a little bit? Not really. Okay, so we ended up 343 community manager, John Junisek, responded on Twitter saying, "Let's talk Halo playlists. We've been reading your feedback and we're working on plans to add Fiesta, Tactical Slayer, SWAT, and Free for All playlists as we speak. They won't land by December 8th, but the team is pushing to get them done before the end of the year." Good response. I mean, there's more to it. That's just kind of where I'm gonna. That's the first tweet that he sent out, and I mean, that sounds fair. At least in my mind. First thought that comes to mind is that is fair. At least you're being honest, letting us know what's going on. You know, that's the gut reaction. But this is where kind of hell broke loose. So Reddit was completely torn on this situation, and things got increasingly toxic, extremely aggressive. Things got bad to the point where 343's community director versus manager got involved. So Brian Gerard took to Twitter. It is an extremely lengthy post. I'm just pulling just the first little bit here. He says, as for Slayer itself, we're having discussions around feasibility. Yes, this is absolutely a hot topic and something the team is aware of. We would love to have modes and experiences that meet players' expectations versus the backlash situation we're in today. I don't believe anyone at 343 thought not having Slayer was a good idea. Yeah, so personally, again, this is my show, so I'm going to give you my personal takes on it. You guys can kind of determine what you want from what they're saying here. I feel like Team Slayer, or just Slayer in general, is the most basic of the playlists that you could add. Why it becomes a feasibility issue is beyond me. I mean, I don't know how. I know that they moved to a different platform, moving to the free or the open world kind of vibe. They completely kind of changed the way that they're approaching the game. But I would have to say, I mean, it's something like that. It's available since Halo 2. It's become a staple of the game. It's you know, you have it in Master Chief Collection just across the board. So you would think that is one thing that should be available at the get-go. Now, I'm not going to throw a temper tantrum, throw a fit because it's not available, especially if they're saying that, hey, we are trying to get it added. We've heard your feedback. Okay, cool. I'm going to let it go. But as I mentioned, Reddit was definitely up in arms over this. Ultimately, this led to doxing and death threats to the developers, to other gamers, whatever else, and ultimately led to the Halo. The Halo subreddit as a whole completely getting locked out. They have shut it down for the weekend. I mean, I get I understand the situation and the frustration, but ultimately it came down to, so the mods stated, we are taking the weekend off, we'll reopen on Monday, just all concerning the toxicity that came along with this and the attacks and the death threats. Guys, I really do understand where you're coming from being upset about it, but it's a fucking video game. Like, who cares? Why is a video game enough to send death threats to someone? I don't understand how we get to that point. I don't understand how anyone's anger can get to that point. And I think that we as a community ultimately need to do better. We need to step up and realize that developers are gamers too. Developers want to bring us the best possible game that they can. We've all worked for a company or a manager that just doesn't give a shit, doesn't care. You have to imagine that no matter what 343's as a company is doing, you have to believe that the developers that are creating this game want to create this game, that they want to bring you. They've played it since they were a kid and they want to bring you that same experience. They have done such an amazing job of bringing this game full circle where it feels like the original Halo series. It feels like Halo Combat Evolved again. And you can tell that they're trying to bring that to us. So instead of pulling this bullshit of upset anger, submit your feedback and allow them to make the changes. I think that it's just inappropriate, and we as a community need to be better. That's my 2 cents on the situation. But it does look like as of Monday, everything will be kind of back up and running. But guys, seriously, it really is just a video game. Can we just... But before we go any further, I am glad to know that the Halo lobbies that I heard when I was a kid are still just as toxic as they are, or as they were back then. Good to know. great to know. Anybody, if you have any thoughts on Halo and the situation that came from that, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. But we will be moving on. I'm going to talk about our main topic. Wow, I killed 20 minutes. We have spent 20 minutes together, guys, and it has just been me, and it has just been me talking, and it's been me monologuing, and I would love some comments here. So anybody that has any thoughts, please, by all means, send them our way. Let's move to our main topic today. Now, okay, guys. So a couple things. First, we're going to throw this up there. I have chosen to do, this is my episode. This is like, there's nobody else on this episode. So this is my game. I chose it. And here is ultimately why, before we get into the game. One of my favorite things is to disappear into a great story. Like, I would rather play a campaign with an amazing story than play a multiplayer game any day of the week. PlayStation is the main game that the main system that I play these campaigns on. Xbox and PC is where I play my multiplayers. And so I decided I wanted to shake things up. I wanted to use, I've been using my PlayStation and had a friend that's like, hey, you have an Xbox, right? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't touch it anymore. So I'm like, I want to play my Xbox. And I looked up and I'm like, you know what? I just want a gorgeous, just relaxing game. And how do you get a relaxing game? And I found Ori, Will of the Wisps. And I'm like, I want to play this game. That's the game I want to play. And then it got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to play that game, though. I can't play the game until I played the first one. So here we are. We played the first one, and I regret nothing. Nothing. This is such an amazing game. Okay, guys, we're going to get into it. All right. So we are doing Ori and the Blind Forest. It is the first game in the Ori series. It's the two of them now. I'm gonna throw that background up too. Woo, that's pretty. All right, so Ori is, we'll get into the development first. So it's developed by Moon Studios and published by Microsoft Studios. It was released for both Xbox and PC in March 2015 and released on the Switch September 2019. It is a 2D platform adventure game, and it utilizes, so it's the Metroidvania game style. Basically, it's not a linear story, while at the same time remaining fairly linear. Players wander the map completing challenges, and they can kind of complete them in their own order. So the game that you learn and the story that you learn isn't necessarily in the same order as everybody else. It kind of mixes things up. It really puts an emphasis on wandering the map. By wandering the map, and just simply that, wandering the map, that's how you're going to unlock your abilities. That's going to, whatever else. It is meant to be explored. And that is what I loved so much about this game, was being able to just go in and if I'm just wandering around, like, I don't feel like I'm just wasting time. Like, that's what I'm meant to do. As as you're going through Diablo, for example, that's one of the ones that I have to see the entire, like, I won't leave the area till I've seen the entirety of the map, just because of the loot. And this one doesn't make me feel bad for it, as, say, Diablo does, where it's like, oh, just get to the next part of the story. No, like, this one is meant to be explored, and it's wonderful for that reason. Ultimately, okay, so let's talk about plot for a second here. You are playing as Ori. Specifically Ori Ensign. Ori is a guardian spirit. One night during a great storm, Ori falls from the spirit tree, which is where all of the spirits live. Falls from the spirit tree and is orphaned. Ori is found by Naru, who ultimately raises Ori. And one night there is a cataclysmic event. Basically, the spirit tree becomes very bright. It's almost like an explosion, and then after that, the forest starts to decay. You start to lose food, and things are starting to die. I'm gonna throw out a quick little trigger warning. Anybody that's experiencing loss at this point in time, quick trigger warning. So we do end up, as you've grown to learn and love Naru, Naru ends up passing, and ultimately leaves Ori all alone again, orphaned again. As Ori is exploring the forest and losing strength, there's no food, there's no one to take care of Ori. You come across a spirit tree. Ori is revived by the tree, and you meet Sign. Sign is just a small little orb, follows you around, ultimately becomes your guide through the forest, explaining what things are and helping expand the story. Then you're off on your adventure, and that's the whole thing. Is you're trying to find out why the forest is dying and how you can ultimately heal it. And by wandering the forest, you learn the different environments of the forest. So, as mentioned, the game is a side platform, and it has a heavy emphasis on exploration. Getting from point A to point B might also involve getting to point Q, R, S, and T along the way. So it definitely is meant to be wandered. And as you're going through the game, you're collecting cells is what you enemies drop them, and it heal. You have your health cells, you have your energy cells, there are upgrade cells. Yeah. So, sorry, as I'm trying to read through my notes here as well. All right. So, these cells are they each do different things. Health cells, obviously, you have help your health. Energy cells are going to be for they actually have a couple different uses. So they're kind of your mana in the sense that they give you your special abilities. So any special powers that you have are going to come through using your energy cells. But it also creates soul links, and we'll get into soul links here in just a brief moment. And then you have your yellow cells. Those are just kind of your standard experience. How you level up your character or whatever else. So let's talk soul links before we get into any further. Soul links serve multiple purposes. You drop a soul link in order to save your game, and wherever you drop your soul link, that is where you respawn. It's super convenient, and it allows you to really save your game wherever with the click of a button. Once it's dropped, you know exactly where you're going to come back. The only downside is, of course, you lose any progress up to that point, as you would kind of anticipate. Soul links, however, are also how you upgrade your basic abilities. So you're going to have your standard attack, you're going to have your standard whatever else, and this is how you upgrade it. This is how you become more powerful in your attacks and your basic abilities. You do need to be at a soul link in order to upgrade those abilities. So one of the hardest things that I found throughout the game was I forget to drop soul links. So I would go through and I'd do a whole section and I'd absolutely dominate, completely forget to essentially save my game, and then you quickly die. It is very easy to die in this game. We'll get into that here in a moment. But that is one of the downsides to the soul link is there's no automatic save points. You have to drop this in order to save your game. And it becomes very difficult to remember at times. So just kind of something to keep in mind. All right, so enemies will drop the orbs, kind of the cells as we were talking about, that will help fill your orbs. As you travel around, you also have, so beyond just the cells, you also have orbs. And these orbs you have the same. It's your health, energy, whatever. And then your kind of your upgrade XP cells. But these are a larger form. And what these do is these are how you gain. See, now I'm going to go ahead and just pull a quick blank on the verbiage and the terms that I was going to use for this, but ultimately, like you gain more mana, you have more accessibility, more access to that mana, and your total, you have more total amount of it, which is really nice. But as you're wandering, the entire map is puzzles for the most part. You're traveling around. Now, keep in mind, the environment changes based off of where you're at. Certain different parts of the forest, you're going to have your tunnels and your caves. You're also going to have, up at the surface, you're also going to have be able to climb up into the trees at times. So there's all sorts of different environments as you go through, and it can affect which orbs and which abilities are actually dropped. It is, as I mentioned, puzzles. And for this reason, you may not necessarily have the ability that you need in order to progress into this certain area. So as you're going, you have to learn what you can and can't do in order to get to certain areas. And so you'll end up leaving an area before you've searched it all simply because you don't have that ability. It becomes a little bit frustrating for that reason. Just because you're like, I just want to, like, it's right here. Why can I not just get it? And it's because you have to go, as I mentioned, point A to point B. Sometimes it requires point Q, R, S, and T in order to actually get where you need to go. So again, full emphasis on the exploration. The puzzles vary on what you're actually doing, and as mentioned, it is extremely easy to die. Some of them are a timing, so you have some where it's the floor that's, it's going to drop out from under you at certain times, or you have to get an enemy to pound it at a certain area at a certain time. I've seen it where it's trying to squish you. You got spikes that are all out there, so it becomes very, very easy to actually die in this game, just based off of what your abilities are. And they're not necessarily easy challenges. Now I do play on the normal setting, and it is any other normal game. I'd probably call it a hard. It is a very challenging, especially if you're like me and can't keep your character holding still for longer than 10 seconds at a time, like that sort of fun stuff, right? But yeah, it is extremely fun. No puzzle is what's the term I'm looking for when you cannot accomplish something? Guys, my brain is just going dead today. It's been a long day. Yeah. All right. Anyway, no challenge is like, you can complete every challenge. You just sometimes have to do things out, in a different order, causing, again, the game to be very different for everybody. Some of your rewards, some of the things you unlock as you traverse through this terrain, you have your spirit trees. So you do unlock and you find all the spirit trees, and you're trying to, that will give you your extra abilities. So double jump or wall climbing, those abilities that aren't necessarily an attack, but are just kind of those special skills. You have map pieces all around the map as well so the map is blacked out. It is a dark forest. You cannot see the map, just as you would anticipate in any game where you're trying to traverse something. You can't see the map, but these map pieces, if you can unlock them and bring them back, it will show you kind of a grayed out where you could potentially be able to go, and kind of unlocks the map for you. And then, of course, those orbs that I was talking about earlier, where you can, kind of gain more mana, have the overall ability to kind of play there. It is an absolutely gorgeous game, guys. The different, seriously, you'll just be traveling along in one terrain, and just suddenly it moves into a completely different, and you have to, it's extremely casual in its gameplay, in the sense that you are, you can just hop in and wander. You're not, there's no problems, nothing to keep you, nothing to push you in one direction. You can just wander. It's very casual, but also at the same time, it is extremely challenging, because it's hard. It is very hard. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. If you've played, let us know. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts on it are as well. I've put about 4 or 5 hours in. So I haven't played a ton of this game yet. There is a lot still to be played, a lot still for me to unlock. It is one that I hope to continue playing, mostly because I want to play Will of the Wisps. Y'all, that has a 97% likability. So we're going to get to that one as well. This one is sitting as at 88%. Let me give you my final opinions on it, and then I'll get you guys on with your day. Again, super short episode, but I killed half an hour, and that's all I can ask for. All right, so I'll give you guys my final review, and give you guys my my ranking, and then I will get you guys on your way. So again, this is an extremely casual game, with the entirety of the goal of the game to wander the map. There's really not a ton of pressure as you play. Excuse me. The controls are smooth. They're simple. You're not having to strain yourself just to beat a boss. But at the same time, it is challenging in the sense that the puzzles are, some of them are just difficult. The world is oddly intriguing. It's a very unique environment. It is, such gorgeous transitions from one terrain to the next. It's more than you would expect from a 2D platform game. You do find, so as you wander the world, you do find more and more lore. the lore is not necessarily delivered to you in a specific order. And so it's kind of fun being able to get those pieces and kind of piece them together on your own. It doesn't necessarily, and the world itself doesn't just encourage you to wander. It makes you want to explore. It makes you want to get to that area, to get that, you see the piece that you want to get. And it's just a matter of finding out, how do I actually accomplish this and get there? Even if it means going all the way across the board. It doesn't just encourage you, it encourages you. If that makes sense. You want to explore. It is really slow unlocking everything. Again, you're wandering a map to unlock your abilities. You don't know where they are. You don't know, where you're going to end up. So unlocking abilities can be a little bit challenging in the sense that you just don't know where they are. And you're kind of, do I keep wandering this area? Do I move on? Is it going to naturally unlock on its own and come to me naturally? Or am I going to have to go out of my way to learn it? So kind of a bit of a give and take in that sense, where it is a little slow going, but again, you're wanting to wander around, so there's nothing wrong with it. Soul Link is extremely difficult to really get in the habit of being able to drop that. Again, I tend to forget that it's even a thing, and I get playing the game and it goes and it goes and it goes and it goes, and then I just die, forget something, and I've forgotten to put the Soul Link up altogether and have to redo all of it. And again, it is very easy to die. So if you're going to play this game or replay this game, whatever else, do not forget your Soul Links. It's super important. Make sure that you're racking those up as often as you can. It adds an extra frustration to the game. But I mean, really, you still only have yourself to blame. It's a puzzle you're trying to solve, and you didn't solve it, so you really still only have yourself to blame. Guys, I'm gonna give this game a solid 8 out of 10. Only reason that I don't feel it's not a 9 or a 10 is only because it is such slow progression, trying to get going there and trying to unlock everything. Again, I'm at 5 hours, and I feel like I'm like nowhere near where I want to be for the amount of time that I've put into the game, which can definitely take you out of it just a little bit. But yeah, solid 8 out of 10. I do recommend, if you're going to play this game, sit down and just play it all. Just play as long as you can. Don't do this one in chunks. Spend the day investigating and loving it and whatever else. So, but yeah, that is all that I have for you. There is my quick review, our quick less than 40-minute episode here today, guys. Really all that I have for you. Quick reminder. So we'll just go into the last little reminders and whatnot. Quick reminder to this week and next week are the last episodes of the season. We will be coming back to you with season 2 mid-January. We'll be coming back. I have a lot of ideas that we're going to be throwing into the mix here. Scott has a lot of ideas that we're going to be throwing into the mix here, and it's going to be so fantastic. We have so much planned, so bear with us as we get all that going. But yeah, that is all that I have, guys. Again, I'm Nate's Legend. You guys know me. I'm the one that kind of runs the majority of things here. Doodles is not with us today, unfortunately, but we hope to have him back here at hopefully by the start of season 2. He can take all the time he wants. We friends, family, take care of yourself, my man. That's what we're here for. We're just here to make sure that you whatever you want to do. Anyway, I'm rambling for the sake of rambling. Just guys, honestly, I'm actually setting everything up so I can do my outro because I'm alone and don't have anybody to do it for me. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. Watch me just stutter through the last half of this. But for real, guys, that is all that I have. Thank you again so much for everybody that's put your love and support into us. Guys, please take care of your mental health. And as always, keep gaming.